Hi guys! Bistak Tech Review po, at your service. Nandito na naman po tayo para mag-discuss regarding current conflict between two huge technology companies today, Apple and Facebook. Sa sinabi ko nga dati, this channel will not just do reviews but also discuss current events or happenings which still connected sa technology naman. Kaya natin ito tinatalakay regarding what's happening between Apple and Facebook kasi possible magiging concern ito ng mga users ng both parties. We will discuss kung anong magiging effect at anong current situation sa nagaganap ngayon na lumala since last year. Matagal na yung hiduan na ito pero mas naging matunog last year. I've researched old and latest news na din as my source ng information ko para meron tayong credible data at mapinpoint natin ano ba talaga ang mangyayari if example sa next iOS or new iPhones ni Apple ay tatanggalin na ng tuluyan si Facebook dahil sa security at other concerns na sinasabi nga nila na dinideny naman ni Facebook which si Apple naman daw gumagawa lang ng issue para lang daw may masabi.
Paano masabi?
As we all know, there are two different type of companies. Apple is a technology gadget giant or consumer hardware company while si Facebook naman is an application giant na kumikita through advertising. So magtataka tayo, bakit sila nag-aaway in the end? Is this another marketing strategy ni Apple pag gumawa ng sarili nilang app in the future to compete with Facebook? Or a concern with shares or hatian sa kinikita regarding sa babayaran dapat ni Apple kay Facebook? First, inaanap ko muna kung saan ba nagsimula ang hidwaan na ito. So, nabasa ko sa isang sikat na news network, ito ang sabi. When Apple updated its App Store to show information about what kinds of user data various apps collect, one app's privacy label is getting a lot of attention. Facebook. On Apple's App Store, the Facebook app listing now includes several pages detailing exactly what user data the app collects and what it uses it for. So, dito pa lang, medyo naging concern na ito ni Facebook. Kasi parang na-red tag na agad daw ang app nila before mo ito ma-install sa any Apple devices. Facebook's lengthy label, which could make privacy-sensitive users reconsider using the app, is an example of why the two Silicon Valley giants have engaged in war of words over the past 5 years. Facebook and Apple have two different business models and they are increasingly coming in conflict. Then ito pa, hindi daw talaga privacy ang cause ng away nila, which is ito. Some of Facebook's complaints with Apple don't relate to these privacy labels. They're over other conflicts between the two companies, such as Apple's 30% cut of in-app purchases and upcoming changes to how apps can access device IDs for targeting ads. Ayun na nga, hatian daw ng kita. Sabi pa nga nung nahuli ng pulis, paano mo nasabi?
Paano masabi?
Okay, continue na natin. But, the conflict between the two companies is ultimately about user targeting, as shown by this exchange from November. Facebook executives have made clear their intent is to collect as much data as possible across both first and third-party products to develop and monetize detailed profiles of their users. And this disregard for user privacy continues to expand to include more of their products. Apple's global head of privacy, Jane Horvath, said in a letter to human rights groups. Tapos sumagot of course si Facebook. Facebook shot back later that day in a statement that said that Apple was using its power to disadvantage its competitors. They claim it's about privacy, but it's about profit. Ayan na nga ang palitan nila at ito pa ang additional information from Facebook. Facebook's app and website have controls that help users set their privacy settings, Facebook said, and Apple's labels ignore important context of how it uses data to run its services. Facebook subsidiary WhatsApp said to Axios last week that Apple's labels are anti-competitive because of some Apple's own apps like Messages are pre-installed on iPhones and don't have store listings or similar labels. At ito naman yung pinipinpoint regarding sa privacy labels ni Facebook na nakakabahala daw. Facebook's label. A quick look at the privacy label shows why privacy-conscious users might hesitate to download the app. Two sets of big icons on the download page provide an overview of the data the app collects, including data used to track you and data linked to you. Two alarming sounding, if not terribly precise descriptions. The icons on the Facebook app listing show that the app uses contact info, identifiers, and other data to track you, or to help target ads on other apps and websites that Facebook doesn't own. Facebook also collects a variety of data linked to your identity according to its privacy label, including health and fitness data, purchases, location, and contacts. If users tap See Details, they'll get a scary-looking accounting of what exact user data Facebook collects. and what it uses it for. That page reveals that Facebook uses other financial information and user content to target ads and collects sensitive info for its own analytics. But perhaps the most memorable part of Facebook's privacy label detail page is how long it is on the phone. It takes up several screens. It leaves a very strong impression that Facebook is collecting a massive hoard of data about its billions of users. Regarding naman dito sa privacy issue and gathering of info, di ba nag-mention ako last time sa isang review ko na when you click something on any other apps, the next time you log in, lalabas ng maraming ads na almost same sa product na hinahanap natin. Kasi nakokolek na nito kung ano ang mga gusto mo using an algorithm or analytics. Example, you click an online app which you buy something. Dahil sa katamaran natin to create an account, we used our Facebook login. Kaya kapag nag-login ka sa Facebook account mo, lalabas na yung same product na binili mo or ni-research mo palang bibilin at other products na related dito. Kaya I would suggest, if ayaw nyo ng maraming ads sa any social media account, don't use it as a login. Pero kung okay lang naman din na sa'yo, yung maraming ads or offers, nasa sa inyo na din yun. Now, for the latest news sa away nila na ito, may isang school na nag-agree or pumanig sa Apple regarding ad tracking at ang school nito ay ang Harvard. At ito ang sabi nila. We have previously described Facebook's feigned concern for small businesses as unconvincing, and an analysis in Harvard Business Review goes further. It says that Facebook's specific claims are misleading. The piece opens by summarizing Facebook's claim. Facebook's central claim is that small businesses will lose revenues if they can't use personalized ads. Without personalized ads, the company says in its ads and on its website, Facebook data shows that the average small business advertiser stands to see a cut over 60% in their sales for every dollar they spend. It's an eye-popping figure and one that suggests that Apple's pro-privacy policy is poised to deal a devastating blow to small businesses. It says that claim relies on conflating two very different things: revenues associated with advertising and revenues caused by advertising. It gives an example of how the two things could be very different. Imagine a company that knows its customers very well. It can predict with high degree of accuracy how much a customer will spend in the coming month. If the company targets an advertisement to those customers who are expected to spend a lot, each dollar spent on advertising will associated with high revenues. That's great. The company has achieved a high return on ad spend. But here's the thing. These customers would have generated high revenues anyway. That's why we're targeted in the first place. So, it would be a mistake to conclude that these customers spent more because of the personalized ads. It says Facebook also failed to source its data, making external review impossible. Not only that, but a different claim that a social network does source is wrong. According to Facebook, Apple's decision is especially damaging during this pandemic because, as Facebook ads and websites state, 44% of small to medium businesses started or increased their usage of personal ads on social media during pandemic, according to a new Deloitte study. That number seemed off to us. So we took a close look at the Deloitte study to discover that Facebook reported the number incorrectly. In its study, Deloitte asked companies from 9 industries whether they increased their use of targeted advertising on social media during pandemic. The industry with the largest increase was telecom and technology. But the increase was only 34%. Other industries had much smaller increases. Professional services firms, for example, had an increase of only 17%. Facebook, it seems, cherry-picked the data the best support its case, and then increased the size of the cherries it picked by a third. Sa point of view ko naman, Facebook really helped a lot the small and medium businesses, or in short, the SMBs here in the Philippines. Especially yung nagsisimula pa lang at nawala ng trabaho at nagnegosyo na lang. During the pandemic, ang daming negosyo na nagsusulputan o nag-pop-up talaga na gamit ay ang marketplace ni Facebook o direct posting sa walls nila and are shared through word of mouth, even in Messenger. Some uses ads to let other people know about their products. Kahit nga malalaking companies really uses social media for their ad campaign and created their own pages as well. Especially sa bansa natin na mahilig sa delivery services, really make use of this app from food or kahit anong paman. Si Facebook ang nakatulong sa marami kasi ito yung kilala na social media app na tinatangkilik ng lahat, mapabata o matanda. Now, if Apple removed Facebook, I think hindi gaano magiging concern yun if ever. Kasi a few people uses their product pero ang concern is the damage that it will cause dahil sa sinasabi nila, especially medyo meron concern about security privacy. So depende na lang talaga kung ano magiging next strategy ni Facebook para mawala yung concern na yon. Especially nagsulputan pa biglang ibang concern with WhatsApp na pagmamayari din ni Facebook. Kung saan sinishare nito lahat ng details kahit Facebook, kahit daw messages, which they denied. Only numbers will be shared daw. So nangyari, dahil sa concern nila kay WhatsApp, naglipatan na sila kay Signal and Telegram, which nagdown pa ang system ng Signal dahil sa surge or influx of new users. Pero if isipin natin, medyo mahirapan si Apple na pabagsakin si Facebook and replace it with a new one. I think magkakaroon ng more plans si Facebook dahil sa nangyayaring ito. Sa nakita nga natin, Facebook is buying all other social media apps to kill the competition, which is happening to all types of industries or businesses na din. Now, for the Apple users naman, ang maapektuhan are those using the device for Facebook use, for business transaction, plus the use of Messenger, and if ever they're using the platform of Facebook to do businesses as well, yung mga My Pages. Kasi if Apple comes up with a new application to compete with Facebook, hindi agad-agad magbo-boom yun. And as mentioned, Apple devices users are from middle class people patakas lang. Pero kayo, ano sa tingin nyo mangyayari sa girian dalawang tech giants ng mga ito? Sino mas lugi in the end if ever? You can comment anything if you have other sources that we can share then. Okay! So I think dyan na lang muna and we'll monitor what will happen next sa girian na ito ng dalawang tech giant companies. We'll also look for other news or events, example what's happening with BlackBerry now, which ang mas kilala or hari pa rin sa security or data privacy. Please don't forget to subscribe and click the notification button para updated po kayo sa next videos namin. Ako pala si Cesar ng Bizdak Tech Review. Salamat mga kabizdak! Proud Bizdak for life!